Hey folks, welcome back once again to another episode of Old Enough to Know Better. I'm Casey, also known as Cinema Fromage from BloodyGoodHorror.com, and we're here to play some games. This week we're playing Tower of Guns. This game is from Terrible Posture Games, directed by Blank Slate Joe on Twitter at Blank Slate Joe. It's a one-man game, and it is an FPS Rogue-like. Or maybe it's an FPS Rogue-lite. I honestly don't know the difference between those two. I just know I like roguelikes or roguelites, and putting an FPS spin on it is a lot of fun. I've had this game for a bit, so I've been able to get used to it. It's a good time. If you're not familiar with the term of roguelike or roguelite, it's a style of game that is designed to be short. In fact, Joe Mirabella, the developer of this game, says on his own website at towerofguns.com that this is a lunchtime game. It's designed to be beaten on your lunch hour. If you're going to beat the game, you're going to do it within an hour. So it's designed to be short, it's designed to be replayed, it's designed for you to go back over and over again, unlock options, build up options as you play, and see how far you can get. So as we jump in here, you'll see this game is your typical setup. You got for an FPS, you have various different kinds of guns that you can play. You have to unlock these. You only start with this one, and I believe this one when you start the game. You have to unlock the rest of these guns. There are certain objectives you have to hit to unlock these guns. As you can see here, I haven't unlocked this one. It says I have to find 5 secrets in one level, which I haven't managed to do, but that's okay. You also get to choose a perk at the start of your game. You have different perks here. These are all just bonuses or hindrances to start your game. I like using this one. It gives you a boost on your damage, armor, loot, and XP. That one's helped me out quite a bit. You have a couple other options down here. You can do a dice roll mode, which gives you a random dice roll, if you will, telling you if you're going to get a bonus or a negative to your game at the start of each level. These could be anywhere from extra damage to extra jump power to less health to more difficulty, but it changes every time you walk through a door into a next level. You also have an endless mode here, which is just as it says. It's an endless mode. You can play on and on and on. Normally this game is played through 5 chapters, through 5 bosses, which a couple boards per level, and you're done within like 5 of those, or you can do it in endless mode just to see how far you can get. You also have some silly dialogue there, which I've never really paid attention. You can turn it on and off. I'm going to leave it on so you can see it, because there is really not much of a story here. They threw a story in there. It has nothing really to do with the game itself. So let's jump in here. You just hit go and you jump right in. Now, as I said, this is an FPS roguelike. It is FPS down to its core. You move with WASD. You aim with your mouse and you shoot, and that's all there is to it. These little guys here called hug bots, you can shoot those if you want, and you get some bonuses. You get some coins dropping your weapon XP, things like that. But they also make your game difficult if you kill them. This game's pretty difficult on its own. You don't necessarily need to make it more difficult. So here we go. These little blue guys here give you weapon experience. You can level up your gun up to 5 times as you play. This gives you your gun more powerful, does more damage, changes the projectile type. So you always want to pick this stuff up. The red dots obviously are health. Later on you'll get some yellow dots, which are to replenish your items. It's a good idea to get your gun leveled up as fast as you can, just because it's going to help you get further in the game, because you can kill things faster and more effectively. That's always good. So there's one level, and we just keep on going. Oop, almost fell. And I'm stuck. So we come back over here. There are perks. You can start out with double jumps, triple jumps that help you jump farther. I started one with stats. So I can only get a single jump, which is sometimes makes it hard to reach some things. And you'll find some secrets that you can't reach that way too. So you're set loose in this tower, and as you can see, it's called the Tower of Guns because it's full of guns, and they're all out to kill you. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a heavy-duty one. Game's a bit more difficult until you get that gun leveled up. And you can take these out in a shot or two. Oop. Now, as you can see, these guns shoot some pretty big ordnance. There's a lot of big bullets flying in here, but they also move slow. Which means that you can outmaneuver these things as you're going without a whole lot of trouble. So while you will get shot, and once they fill up the screen enough, it's hard to avoid it all. You can do some maneuvering to get around it. There's always secrets hidden in boards too, so it's good to look for those. I always like to kill everything just to get the bonuses. So that's another thing too, as you can see, your objective for each one of these levels is to get through the map and find the door to move on to the next level. You can run through here and do it as fast as you can. In fact, there's a couple guns to unlock by going through just as fast as you can. But then when you do that, you're missing out on a lot of things like leveling your gun, health boosts, things like that. Sometimes badges are dropped. Badges give you different perks and stats increases. And you lose out on that stuff, and that makes your game harder. Here's a boss fight. They start out relatively simple, as you can see. Find yourself a hiding spot and just plug away. Everything drops. All bosses drop an item of some sort. They're usually like a weapon item, or there is a weapon mod. I believe this one dropped a weapon mod. I could see when it dropped. Let's run around here and pick up some goodies here. Things like your weapon experience and your health will disappear on you if you don't pick them up right away, so you always want to get those fairly quick. What's this one? TNT. It means my shots are going to explode. Not bad, not bad. Now, the roguelike, the other thing that makes this roguelike a roguelite is the fact that the maps are randomly generated. You'll see sometimes maps repeating, especially on numerous playthroughs, but generally they're pretty unique, and I'm still, after playing through this 30 or 40 times, I'm still getting some maps that I haven't seen before. So that's where your roguelike comes in as well, because it's all randomized. You've got a certain amount of themes per areas that you're going to go through, and every time the layout's different, and that's usually part of the challenge is to find your way through, to find the door, and to try and find secrets. Now, that looks pretty bad early on, but that's fairly typical for this game. There we go. Let's see. Oh, there's one. Let's see what's downstairs here. Anything good? Oh, there's a secret in there. We'll take a hit for some more armor. Lava does do damage, obviously. There are perks you can get to not take damage from things like lava. And spikes and falling. But as you can see, the damage isn't too devastating in early stages, so. Alright. I've long been a FPS fan, but I've also long been not very good at them. I've never been very good at shooters. I don't have the concentration, I don't have the aim. But I still like them. I've played Doom back in the day. I played a lot of Duke Nukem, things like that. Back in the days where we had to use serial cables to attach our computers together. So I've had some fun with them, but like I said, I'm just not good. When you get into like a multiplayer situation, playing modern things like Call of Duty, Black Ops, stuff like that, I enjoy them, but the single-player game's usually not well thought out, and I am not good enough at multiplayer to give a shit, so I don't play it because it gets frustrating. This is nice because you're playing by yourself. I enjoy a multiplayer shooter. I enjoy I enjoy a single-player shooter, and I enjoy a single-player shooter that provides some challenge, and this is pretty good because a lot of times the single-player on a shooter is just not thought out at all. It's very short, it's very weak, and just not very challenging. This kind of fixes that, and it's good for the single player in mind. Plus, it gets randomized, so it's easy to play it over and over and not feel like you're getting burnt out. Because you're seeing something different quite often. And that makes it nice. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. Go. Just about every time you enter a room, if you give it a second, things are going to come to you. So if you don't see anything right away, you can usually set up shop and wait, and you're going to get attacked shortly. I don't like these so much because they give you shortcuts that cuts down on the exploration. I enjoy the exploration aspect a lot. So if you're not playing a game, a shooter like Doom or Duke Nukem or something like that, that's known primarily for its online multiplayer deathmatch things, that kind of stuff, the other option for a shooter is your heavy story shooters, things like BioShock, which are fun. I do enjoy those, but they're also different. Sometimes I don't care for the stories. Sometimes I like the stories, but I'm not in the mood for a story. So this makes a really good halfway point because I can get my shooting in, blow some shit up, and then have fun with it and not have to be worried about being bogged down. I don't have to wait for cutscenes. I don't have to wait for stuff that I don't really care about, especially if I'm not into the story of a particular game. Now, as I said, there's that wacky dialogue option here that you can turn off. I've left it on for now. You can see it pop up there when you start levels. There's really kind of nonsense to it, a story. You don't have to pay attention to it at all. I honestly can't tell you what much of it's about because I've never really paid attention to it. It's just there for flavor. There we go. Now, sometimes you're going to find some other weapons in here that you'll unlock as you go that are different from the ones that are available at the beginning of the game. They're not common, though. But they will show up from time to time, and it usually comes from exploring. But as I was saying, especially in today's day and age, where I'm working a full-time job, I've got kids that are in school, that are taking care of the things like that. You got your loved ones, your wife, your spouse, or your husband, depending, you know, that you got to spend time with after work. Sometimes you can't, you know, take the time to sink your teeth into something long and lengthy because you only got 20 to 30 minutes to play. This game is perfect for those situations. You can jump in, get your fill, move on. That's nice to have on occasion. And that's not to say I don't like those other games and they don't have their place. It's just that a game like this that's short and is made for smaller time spans has its place too. You see here we've had some badges. These are bonuses, perks. Critical chance. Looks like my critical chance went down. That's not good. Badges add perks. Sometimes they add negatives. There are some like that when you just saw it took down my critical chance. There's some that are going to make the game more difficult. So you got to pay attention to them too. That's kind of nice that you don't just run around picking up power-ups blindly. Because this game's pretty hard. And you don't really need to make it more difficult. Part of the fun, though, is making your way through, seeing what all you can find. Now, I sold myself short there. Took out that whole level. That's okay. We'll press on. It's a double jump perk. So now I can jump twice. I think I've seen up to a quadruple jump before. Mostly helpful in finding secrets and things like that. What are these guys? Look at that. There's a lot in this level. I have not seen these missiles before. That's pretty cool. Oh, they hit it. There we go. And we have a boss battle. What do we got this time? I don't see a boss. There he is. A twerp totem. We will try it. Items pop back up. You have a limited use. If you see the yellow bar in the item in the upper right hand corner, if you use it by pressing the E button, you have to replenish it with the drops from your enemies before you can use it again. Having some lag here. Makes these skinny walkways kind of a pain in the butt. And that's the wrong doorway. We'll go this way. Alright, I believe that was the third. level. Hookbot Alley. This one's weird. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's just a bunch of random hugbots all over the place, but it makes for an easy level to get to the end. We'll find out how much more difficult it makes it. These usually give you some kind of items and a badge or two. They're just a fluff level. I want to use the totem. That captain's belt pauses the game, or pauses all your enemies, but it also pauses you, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. These are like sticky mines. They do damage as you run through them. Those kind of suck. You can also get a weapons mod that does that to your own shots, which is not so suck. They can do a lot of damage in a hurry, though. Don't seem to be doing too much. Now, you also notice, it hasn't happened to me yet, but sometimes if you do take some hits, you will lose weapon level. Which stinks when you're getting higher up in the levels of the game. And now all of a sudden your weapon's not doing as much damage as you're used to. That could be a definite challenge too. You can power it back up right away with picking up your level stuff. I hate this board, just so you know. These white boxes or boosts, they let you jump farther, faster, higher. And they're really hard to figure out at first. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot in the way of like tutorials or anything to help you figure that out. However, I have figured out that it works by aiming with your reticle. Alright, these purple guys slow you down, is all they do. But let's see what we can do here. This may take a couple tries. It may be ugly. Huh. I gave up on a game the first time through this on this level because I could not get it up there. It was so frustrating. Alright, almost made it. As you can see, it all comes down to where you're aiming your mouse to direct yourself. Which is not good when you got some serious video lag going. There we go. There's a speed badge and a new item that we already have, so we don't need that. Ah, good. I thought I was going to have to embarrass myself by dropping out of the game there because I couldn't figure that one out again. That level gave me some cold sweats the first couple times I encountered it, I'll be honest. Oh, that was a badge there that makes the game more difficult, as you can see. We will bypass that now, because who needs that? Fairly resilient in this game. You can take quite a few hits, especially in those later stages after you've built yourself up some, without too much worry. So there's going to be a lot of flak and you're going to take a lot of hits, but that's not the end of the world. Ooh, I haven't seen this before. This does not look fun. The hell out of that one. And here's another boss battle. As you can see, the boss battles get crazier and crazier. This may be the last boss battle, to be honest. And some of them take a lot more to figure out on how to do damage to them than the others. Well, this is getting interesting. Go team. What is this? Thread derailer. Now this should be the final level. And as you can imagine, things just get completely chaotic at this level. pretty fun with the randomization in this game because I've played this quite a bit and I'm still seeing stuff that I haven't seen before that pops up every now and then, like these little laser guys here. I've not seen these before, so that's kind of cool. That's a neat aspect of the game. There's another badge for us. Keeps things fresh and exciting when you got new stuff popping up after a while. Oh. See, I haven't seen that guy there either. And here we come to the final boss fight. This is usually pretty difficult. There's a couple phases, different ways you have to unlock it to do damage to it. And then they add in other enemies in the periphery. Laser beams suck. Honestly, I don't know if those yellow things are doing damage or not, but I know these guys are. Okay, this sucks. Can't remember how to get him to open up. There he goes. Can't stand still for very long, or you're gonna have a bad time. And I'm about dead. Not enough in here to keep me alive. Boom, there we go. I'm dead. So that sucks, but that's the whole game. When you get done, when you die, it tells you your brief stats, which is pretty rogue-like in itself. It tells you what kind of badges you picked up, what kind of items you're using, perks you had, and gives you your basic stats on, you know, how far you've beefed up your everything. And that's all there is to it. So back out here to the menu, and as I said, you can play that mode with the different levels, or you can play endless mode, which just lets you fight that boss and then move on to the next level and just go as far as you can. I think my highest level is somewhere in the mid-20s, about 25, which is not great, but it's not good or bad either. I've reading the forums, I see things, you know, people getting into the like mid-30s. It gets really crazy, which is fun. So that, folks, is Tower of Guns. You can find more on Tower of Guns at towerofguns.com, and you can find its developer Joe Mirabella on Twitter at blankslatejoe. Tower of Guns is available on Steam, it's available on GOG, it's available on the Humble Store, the Indie Game Stand, and more. It normally runs $14.99. I've seen it on sale a couple times. I myself got it on a Humble Store sale, I believe. Possibly an Indie Game Stand store. I don't remember. For like $5, so you can find a deal if you want to watch a deal out there. It's a good time, especially if your gaming time is limited and you have a short time to get some time in. You can dedicate 30 minutes to the game, feel like you've accomplished something, made some progress, and have a good time. So there you have it. That's another episode of Old Enough to Know Better. I'm your host. I am Casey, also known as Cinema Fromage. You can find me on Steam as Cinema Fromage. You can find me on Twitter at CaseyBGH. You can find me once a week on my weekly horror movie podcast at bloodygoodhorror.com, a couple times a month on bloodygoodhorror.com, on the Instamatic podcast where we review Netflix movies, and you can find me once a month over at 1951downplace.com where we review old Hammer horror movies out of England in the 40s and 50s. Yes, I know it's obscure, it's weird, but it's what I like. So, until next time, bye-bye.